Welcome to the Inspired by Adventure podcast, bringing you the adventure across the airwaves. Here's your host, Cole Watkins.
All right, welcome to another episode of Inspired by Adventure podcast. I appreciate you guys joining us today. My name is Cole Watkins, and I'm your host. Today, we're going to learn a little bit about PADI Club. So joining us now, we have the Managing Director of PADI Club, Mr. Dave Freygang. How are you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Cole.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on. PADI Club is something that seems like it's gaining a lot of traction here lately, and we want to hear all about it. So before we do, let's hear a little bit about you, how you got into the industry and your current position, and then we can talk a little bit about PADI Club.
So I spent most of my career actually in consumer media. Started with a company called World Publications in the late 70s. We were purchased by a Swedish company, Bonnier, in the early 90s. But really our focus in that consumer media was niche publications, primarily around active interest. So one of our publications that we launched was Sport Diver magazine, and that was back in the day when Skin Diver was still around, and scuba diving at that time was owned by Rodale. But that was the majority of my career. I spent 26 years there. I became CEO of the company, Bonnier Corporation. We had 35 different brands that we managed. Primarily, we had magazines, websites, social media, events, and diving was always a passion of mine. Really loved that segment, and in the early 80s through 90s and early 2000, we worked with PADI. We worked with them on the PADI Diving Society, where Sport Diver was the official publication. And through the years, we acquired Scuba Diving magazine from, it was F&W Publications at that time. And again, diving has just always been a passion of mine. And I actually retired from Bonnier the end of 2015. And I saw an opportunity for PADI to acquire the diving group from Bonnier. So I reached out to Drew Richardson. I think this was probably early 2019, said, look, I'd love to see that group be purchased by PADI. I think it's a good fit. It was important to me to see that group, in the hands of somebody who's passionate about diving, not just, somebody who wants to, make money. It's a special, it's a special activity. It's a special group. Fortunately, we were able to facilitate the transaction, and we came to agreement that I would stay on and manage PADI Club as well as the media group for PADI. So that's kind of how I got to where I am today.
All right, very cool. Well, tell us a little bit about PADI Club.
So PADI Club, it's really pretty simple concept, and it's based on, we have a mission, a goal, and a promise. So our mission, for PADI Club is we want PADI Club members to be torchbearers. We want to have 1 billion torchbearers. It's important to us that we create this global network of ocean advocates that take action and protect the ocean. I think that's really important for us as a foundational issue to get behind. Certainly, PADI as an organization is behind it. We know Aggressor is as well. It's really critical that we protect that. Our goal for PADI Club members is to seek adventure and save the ocean. And again, that's a common cause with PADI, and I think in the industry in general. And then what we promise to our PADI Club members is we're going to help them to become more competent and confident divers, through opportunities to take additional e-learning courses, through opportunities, in our media properties to learn about travel, to learn about gear, and hopefully inspire them. So if we can do that, then we know that we'll keep those divers engaged. We'll have more divers that are active, and that's going to help everybody. It's going to help, it's going to help Aggressor. It's going to help the industry. It's going to help gear sales. People will take more trips. So that's really in a nutshell what we want to accomplish with PADI Club, is just to stay engaged with these divers. And PADI has always done a great job in getting divers into the activity through the certification process. Now we want to really reach out to that consumer and stay engaged with them.
Okay, so how does someone go about signing up for PADI Club, and what all does that entail?
So we have a couple channels of opportunity for consumers to sign up. We're starting really at what we call the PADI membership level. So that would be PADI dive centers and resorts. So we have a program where when the consumer initially has an interest in becoming certified, or they could be certified for 10 years, but that PADI member has the ability to sign that consumer up to PADI Club, and that's where our best offer is. We offer a 90-day free trial to consumers. They can check it out if they like it. There's no obligation. If consumers don't sign up through that channel, then through our database, we have email acquisition efforts. We have direct mail acquisition efforts on our website, PADI.com, scubadiving.com, sportdiver.com. We have interstitials to get people, at least the opportunity to sign up. So we're really looking through all of our channels, including social, as an opportunity to sign up. And, we have pretty aggressive goals. We're starting out in North America initially, but ideally our goal is to match the worldwide footprint of PADI for this, for this club.
All right, and that's open to anyone, right? It's not exclusively just for divers.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, and ideally, our goal is how do we broaden that funnel? We would love to have people come in who have an interest in the water or have an interest in conservation. I think we're all aware of how many people take the Discover Scuba Diving course if they go on vacation. But they don't seem to convert to active divers. So, we hope that we can also facilitate getting more people interested in diving. And I think particularly, as you look at environmental issues and global warming and the impact that, that's having on our oceans, we see an opportunity to get more and more people involved. And that really aligns with our torchbearer initiative to have a billion torchbearers. It's really important for us that we get people, involved in that. And we feel if we can, then we will convert to more active divers. And again, we want to help the industry as well. So we think it's a win-win opportunity.
So what's the cost to join PADI Club?
So the cost to join PADI Club, it's $49.95 a year is the annual membership. And again, we offer a 3-month free trial through PADI Dive Centers and Resorts for consumers who would like to try it. And we feel like we've developed a pretty robust value proposition for that $49.95. Basically, there's 18 e-learning courses that are available through PADI Club, where you can get a 20% discount. We offer discounts on PADI gear, PADI travel opportunities. We have or offer free reactivation courses, and we think that's really a solid benefit, because so many divers, and myself included, I got certified, when I was in high school, and you get married, you have kids, you have a job, and so many people get away from it.
Right.
And I was certified using a double hose regulator. It was more the marine training. I remember my instructor, he came behind me and turned my air off. It's like, what are you going to do now? So I think Reactivate's a great opportunity for PADI Club members. If you haven't been diving in a couple of years, you can take that free reactivation course. So let's say, somebody's booking a trip with, Aggressor Adventures, they haven't been diving in a couple of years. The scenario that we'd like to see play out is join PADI Club, take the Reactivate course, And then maybe what you should do is take the enriched air e-learning course as well, and then finish that course while you're on the boat. So that's the scenario that we see, and if we can draw people who have been certified, who haven't been diving, as well as new divers, we really see that value, on a $49.95 per year basis. In addition to that, they also get our publications, from the PADI Media Group. So that's Scuba Diving Magazine, both in print and digital form.
So are those coming out monthly?
10 times a year. So we have a couple special issues. We just shipped our gear guide, which really is a popular issue for folks to look at the latest gear. In May we have our liveaboard issue, which is another foundational issue for us. In November we do our World's Best Diving Resorts, and then we fill that in with 7 issues. So it's 10 times a year of scuba diving.
All right, yeah, and you did mention that the 20% off the gear. So I'm sure that gear guide gets a lot of people interested in some of the new gear you guys have, huh?
Yeah, and PADI gear is more clothing, apparel, but okay. Yeah, the gear guide really, so scuba diving has Scuba Lab, which is fully independent, gear testing arm of our media group. And, they select gear of the year, best buys. It's really a nice, buying guide for consumers. So we're really proud of the issue. And again, that should be hitting people's mailboxes in probably 3 weeks. And it's actually already available to PADI Club members in digital form.
And going back real quick to the Reactivate, that's just a refresher course that's online, right?
Yeah, it's an e-learning course. Okay. So yeah, 100% online.
Okay.
All right, very cool. So how many people do you have signed up for PADI Club right now?
So we're just north of 6,000. We really launched PADI Club early let's say call it mid-year 2019. We were really working on the value proposition. We had to do a fair amount of work with our websites. So we were really on track attracting PADI Club members. Then COVID hits North America in March. So everything shut down. People can't travel. So we actually saw that as a opportune time to step back, really improve the value proposition. That's when we expanded our e-learning availability from 5 courses to 18. We took the discount up from 10 to 20. And then we also did a lot of work, through our website for very easy benefit redemption, very easy sign up. And we're now really, you can call it relaunching, providing the program with our PADI members, the dive centers and resorts to offer PADI Club through, through their channels to their consumers. So we use COVID, as a way to really improve club. And now we're really focusing on really full force rollout. And we expect by year end 2021 to be in the 40,000 member range. And we're also looking at testing expansion. We've got some test PADI members in Great Britain. We see an opportunity to expand to Australia and New Zealand, primarily because they're English speaking and the publication, it's published in English. Right. And then as we look to the second half of the year, we'll look at translations where again we can go worldwide with the PADI Club concept. We just want to make sure we have the right value proposition, the right acquisition channels, but we feel pretty good about where we are and how we're rolling out, kind of the full scale acquisition opportunity.
All right, so I want to get your opinion on this. We've had COVID for over a year now. What are your expectations with the dive industry going forward?
So I think, my view of the dive industry right now, I think the really good news is the demand to dive has never been stronger, in my opinion. Even during COVID, we saw amazing interest in local diving. We saw, continued interest in getting certified. So that's great, and you're seeing that in other industries as well. That kind of prove that point that COVID has really created this demand to get back to normal, to participate in activities. So whether it's boat sales or bicycle sales, they're exploding. So that's good, and we feel very confident about the demand for the activity of diving. And I would say dive centers locally have done well once we got through that initial closure. Equipment sales seem to have fared pretty well. I think the challenge for the industry and what needs to happen is we need to get dive travel back on track. We need to be able to have airplanes be able to transport us to destinations. We need destinations to open up, and that's going to be dependent on vaccine distribution, continued work on the wearing a mask, social distancing. So certainly we're seeing positive trends. We anticipate that the second half of 2021 we'll see whatever our return to normal is going to be. But I think that our opinion is that diving will have a robust recovery once that travel opens up, and once we feel confident that we've had enough vaccine distribution, whether or not we reach herd immunity. And I think it's global. Certainly, as you travel to more remote destinations, they're not going to have the same access to vaccines or healthcare necessarily that we might have in North America or in certain parts of Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific. So I think that's really what needs to happen. But we feel like we're on the right track. We see continued improvement, but that's kind of that second half of that equation that really, we should see certainly movement towards a more normalization the second half of 2021. And we would anticipate by 2022, we can return to kind of levels that we were experiencing in 2019 as it relates to dive travel, to gear sales, to full certification activities. And I think that's, we're all looking forward to that.
All right. Well, while I still got you, I'd like to hear any particular dive stories that you'd like to share with us, some favorite memories of yours while scuba diving.
So I have a couple interesting anecdotes. So my first dive, I think and I wouldn't call it a dive, but when I was a kid, I loved the water. I mean, I couldn't stay out of the water. And, I spent a lot of summers up in New England. And so when I was a kid, my buddy and mine, we would put a bucket on our heads with a rock, and we would go down the bottom of the lake, and we'd kind of, peek out. And that was kind of like, wow, this is great. I love being in the water, but I also want to be, beneath the surface. So always had an interest, and again, I got certified in high school. I did my checkout dive in Dutch Springs. I'll never forget my flap was out, and that cold water was going down my back, and I was like, oh, this is horrible. But as I continued to dive, and then particularly working with Bonnier, I would say one of my favorite dives. I like warm water. Now. I mean, I moved from Pennsylvania to Florida, so love the warmth. I'll never forget diving in Little Cayman and swimming over Bloody Bay there. And just like looking into the abyss. I felt like I was looking off the top of the Empire State Building, and it was stunning. And I remember just getting a little bit negative buoyancy and dropping down on that wall and just seeing all the marine life. That was a dive that I think really introduced me to the potential of really exploring, the world and other dives that really, kind of lit the fire in me. Like this is amazing, what you can see and what's underneath the water. So I'd say those are kind of the key pieces of my dive career. So,
Do you have any places that you're planning on diving soon?
Yeah, I in fact, I was talking to Margot Kids Sea Camp, and she invited me down, and I've always appreciated what they've done. So I think I want to take a trip once she figures out, kind of where they go. Kind of on my bucket list is Truck Lagoon. I'm kind of a history buff.
Okay.
And so really want to do that. And then I'd love to come on your new boat in the Philippines as well. So I'd say, if I can kind of do my checklist, those would be my top three.
All right, well, Mr. Freygang, I appreciate you being on with us today. We learned a lot about PADI Club, and in case you listeners want to hear one last time what you're getting for that $49.95 annual fee, you're getting 20% off the PADI courses, free programs such as the refresher course and the dam prepared diver course. You're getting the 10 magazines. You're getting 20% off the retail, the PADI gear retail, and you're also getting $150 savings on PADI travel. Did I get it all?
You did, and it's good value.
It really is. For $50, you can make that back real quick. Well, I appreciate you being on, and maybe we can get on with you another time later in the year and get an update on how PADI Club is going.
Yep, thanks, Cole. I appreciate it, and look forward to diving with you on one of your boats. All
right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Inspired by Adventure podcast. We will see you guys next time. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Inspired by Adventure podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you haven't already, please subscribe through iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. See you next time.